So we've recently written a linear equation when we were given a graph. And now they want us to write a linear equation when given a table. Well, it's very similar because we're going to use the same equation, y equals mx plus b. That is slope-intercept form. All we need is the slope and the y-intercept. So the same steps apply. Find the slope, find the y-intercept, and then plug them in. Let's look at some examples. Here's our first example. So we just need to find m and b, slope and y-intercept. Remember that your slope is the rise over run, or change in y over change in x, or you can take 2 points and find their differences. A nice easy way when you're using a table is to just find the changes this way. So change in y is 1 to 2, which is plus 1. Change in x is negative 2 to 0, which is plus 2. Your change in y over your change in x is a positive 1/2. When we're finding the y-intercept, there's one thing you should look for before you have to do any work. And that is, when we're on the y-axis, x is 0. This is the line x equals 0, the vertical line x equals 0. So whenever x is 0, that's my y-intercept. In this case, it's very simple to find your y-intercept. It's going to be right here at the point 0, 2. So when x is 0, y is positive 2. That's my y-intercept. And I can plug it right into y equals mx plus b. Y equals 1/2, that's m, x, and then b is positive 2. 1/2 x plus 2. Now let's try this one. Again, we're going to find the slope and the y-intercept, m and b. That's what we need. So let's find the slope first. My change in y from 12 to 9 is a negative 3. And from 1 to 2 is a positive 1. So my change in y over change in x is negative 3 over 1, which is just negative 3. Negative 3 divided by 1 is negative 3. Now we have to find the y-intercept. The problem here is that there's no 0. I need to know when x is 0, what is y? Well, we're close here, so you might be able to count down. I know that every direction we go this way, we lose 3, which means every direction we go this way, we have to gain 3. I'm one step away from 0, so I could know that 12 plus 3 is 15. If you can figure that out, then that's a perfectly okay way to do it. Let's try another way, though. As we've discussed previously, I know that each one of these points on the graph is a solution to this equation. Every point on the line is a solution to the equation of that line. So the important thing here is that I know m, and I know an x and a y. I could pick any of these, and they're all going to work. So let's pick the point 4, 3. All I have to do is say that y is 3, x is 4. So 3 equals, I know what m is, it's negative 3, negative 3. X is 4 plus b. And I can solve for b. 3 equals negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 plus b. And it's a one-step equation from here. If I add 12 to both sides, this is 0, and this is 15. B is 15. Now that you're done, you've got everything that you need for your equation. Y equals negative 3x plus 15. Let's try one more. Remember, we're finding the slope and the y-intercept. Let's find the slope. Change in y is 14 to 10, that's -4. Change in x is 4 to 8, that's a +4. So my change in y over change in x is -4 over 4. -4 divided by 4 is just a -1. Okay, is there any value where x is 0? No, there's not. So let's pick a point. Every one of these is a solution, so I can pick whichever one I want. So let's choose the point 8, 10. If I know that 8, 10 is a solution to my equation, and I know that m is -1, then I know that 10 equals -1 times 8 plus b. This is just x, and this is just y. -1 times 8 is -8 plus b. Bring that up here so we have some space. If I add 8 to both sides, this is now 0, and I know that b equals 18. It's a +18. So from there, plug in your slope, -1, x, and your y-intercept, +18. -1, we don't usually write it like that, so let's go ahead and just write this as y equals -x plus 18. So to recap, we just need the slope and the y-intercept. To find the slope from a table, we find the change in y over the change in x. And then to find the y-intercept, we can either see that there's a spot where x equals 0, so this must be the y-intercept, or you can pick one of the solutions, that's x and y, and plug it into your equation along with your slope to find what b is. Once you've done that, you have m and b, and those values just go into the equation.